Women, right? Who likes them? Not me. Except when they're doing incredibly good cringe. I was stumbling through my sources 2 days ago looking up stuff to talk about, and a hot new scoop came across my desk which I thought was just wow. Titled, Woman Ends 14-Year Marriage Less Than a Month After Meeting a New Guy. Okay, not that crazy. Happens every single day. But then you dig into the article itself and my God, do your teeth grind. Somehow this woman has the writing talent of the lady who wrote 50 Shades of Grey and the creativity and grace of J.K. Rowling in the Fantastic Beasts series. She is somehow simultaneously the most predictable and obvious writer I've ever read, but also the most intriguing person I've ever read because she cray-cray, bruh. But I think it's probably best that you determine it for yourself. So let's have a little gander. Less than a month after I met my soulmate, I ended my 14-year marriage. I wasn't expecting a formal dinner with cheerful conference attendees in the beautiful West Australian town of Margaret River to turn my life upside down. If you're wondering if I'm gonna talk like this the whole time, yes, fuck you. Or was I? Oh, I got a little bit excited. I had a good life. I wasn't looking to upend it. Or was I? I had decided only the week earlier to attend the 3-day event with my husband. It wasn't in the family holiday plan, and we had to arrange care for the children, but I saw it as a perfect opportunity for us to reconnect, as we had become quite distant. I believe that time away from the stress of everyday life was the perfect remedy to reignite our relationship. You're talking about getting that pussy hit, bruh. Most people need to realize that's 90% of a relationship's problem is you just gotta bust. We entered the magnificent oak-paneled dining room, taking our seats at the long, elegantly laid table. My husband sat to my left and quickly engaged another couple in conversation. The bastard didn't even look at me! I don't know why I turned Scottish. Like, my wife's half Irish and Scottish, and I always like to laugh at the idea that she married someone who's of English descent. Like, her dad's dead, but I can only imagine that her ancestors in this tragic love tale. But da, I love him. Nah, he English dog. But da, nah, da, nah. What is going on with me this morning? As I settled into my seat, I looked up and immediately lost my breath. When our eyes met, there was an instant familiarity that ran deeper than water cooler chat. What? That's a confusing sentence, lad. There was an instant familiarity that ran deeper than water cooler chat. Oh, that is so bad. You didn't even revise that? Yo, that is terrible writing. Jesus. These eyes had locked before, 12 years earlier. His name was Jason. I hadn't forgotten. Throughout the dinner, I was my usual animated conversational self. Just so you know, guys, I'm quite charming and flattering. I was, my typical really cool, awesome, epic self that everybody loves to be around, and also the prettiest girl in the room. What? Who said that? Not me. I was, after all, in sales. The most charming people alive, salesmen. The group chatted happily, all of us enjoying it. Excellent, I don't know how to pronounce that, degustation of West Australian delicacies cooked with attention and pride. As the entree was served, Jason offered me a sip of his wine to taste the robust old vine Shiraz. After a little bit of banter and coaxing, I accepted. Over the course of the evening, my attraction to Jason developed. I soon became aware of his every breath, and I unconsciously mirrored his pace. She a loony lad. I caught myself embarrassingly looking at his chest through his slim-fitted white evening shirt. Yes, he had a fit, toned, and attractive body. But was it his chest I was drawn to? No, it's his big, juicy Australian penis. When dessert was served, he offered me a sample of his decadent and oozy chocolate pudding. Because at that point I was oozing. Oh yeah? I declined, but he scooped up a generous spoonful and fed me across the table anyway. He displayed a level of familiarity normally reserved for close friends or lovers. If anyone had been watching us, they would have been at least curious as to the nature of our relationship. Dude, you can smell the wine mom from across the screen. This lady down bad. She needs it. By the time the group left the restaurant late in the evening, all my senses were on high alert. I was gushing. It was abundantly clear that the energy between Jason and me was somehow charged. I instinctively understood, though, that this was more than just some lust, something I had felt many times before. I also understood that it was more than simple physical attraction, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. Where's her husband gone? Is he just like stood next to her? Honey, the taxi's is gonna be here any minute. Shut up, tell them about it! Ooh! Like the poor lad's probably just stood there like, my wife's trying to fuck this guy. At the hotel bar, Jason bought me a glass of his favorite rosé. We looked into each other's eyes, his dark and mysterious, mine big and brown, and clinked glasses. The electricity between us was strong and raw. It traveled to my core. It was so intense, I needed to break eye contact. We, the energy. It was electric. My body was completely charged. I was completely on. Oh wow, this still goes. This is so disrespectful. She had to have wrote this while she was still married to her husband. Imagine stumbling across your wife's desk with all of her like writing notes just to find out you were cucked at a friendly dinner like a couple nights ago. And you had no idea because your wife's a lunatic and she's probably making this all up in her head. I had determined to fight the continual pull to his side that I felt as we moved around each other throughout the evening in various conversations, though we were always aware of one another's location. This is starting to get scary. I'm willing to bet, my firstborn son, that Jason the lad was probably just being super friendly, and this touch-starved woman misinterpreted that as the most raw dogging electricity in the world. I hope this lad got a restraining order. When we locked eyes across the room, the intensity of our stares magnified, becoming bolder as the night progressed. We held our gaze longer. Our connection deepened. I loved talking with him. I felt warm, relaxed, and safe in his presence. I felt I could truly be myself at a level I wasn't familiar with. I realized that it was a feeling I hadn't enjoyed in a long time. Perhaps ever. Sure, we were laughing and joking like old friends, but deepening connection through our eyes was undeniable. My behavior that evening was uncharacteristic because I'm normally very charming and the prettiest girl in the room. I stayed out way longer than I normally would. I'm usually an early to bed, early to rise type. But this was no ordinary evening. I was in no hurry to lose our connection. In fact, I wanted time to stand still. I wanted to remain in the energy, our energy, forever. The bar called last drinks, and the evening, now the early morning, came to an end. The goodbye was overt, open, and revealing our mutual affection. We enjoyed a body-hugging embrace where I whispered into his ear, "This isn't over." Why does this sound like an active hostage situation? "I have taken your mother hostage. I demand 10 million in Australian dollar dues dropped off at this location Sunday. I needed to see you again." He put his hand tightly on my waist and pulled me close. "Yes," he replied. It was all I needed to hear. Before my dress just dropped a bucket full of water on the floor and we slipped in my goo. As I danced back to my room, feeling vulnerable, but also unexpectedly whole, I couldn't wipe the smile from my face. I had never felt anything like this before. I had never experienced this sensation. I didn't understand the energy. It was like an out-of-body, perhaps in-body experience. I now know without hesitation, without question, without any doubt in my mind, my body or heart, that the energy we experienced that evening was our souls connecting. I left Margaret River a different woman. Oh fuck, this is still going. Lady, how many adjectives can you describe being horny? My god. I knew in my heart, in my soul, in a very fabric of my being, that I had profoundly changed. I couldn't articulate the feelings, the sensations, the experience, the connectedness I experienced with Jason at a level impossible to describe. All I knew for certain was that this one encounter, in the most unlikely of places, under the most unusual of circumstances, had dramatically altered my life. The next few days were a complete blur. I couldn't make any sense of my feelings. I couldn't escape the unrelenting thoughts of I certainly couldn't fathom how I'd resume my normal life, a full-time career in financial services, the care of 2 young children, household chore, social engagements, being a wife! What I did understand was that the successful, comfortable, and somewhat predictable life I had spent 20 years building was now of no consequence. I was gonna abandon my family. I simply didn't care. I just met my soulmate. What could possibly be more important than that? The raising and well-being of your children and also the mutual explaining of this feeling to your husband that you just cucked. Both more important than your need to get pounded. Less than a month after meeting Jason, having had no communication with him since our time in the Margaret River, I ended my 14-year relationship with my husband. The woman who had always been so careful, so planned, so organized, and so clear about the path her life would take had just made the most dramatic decision of her life, one affecting those dearest to her, her family. Encore! Encore! This was extracted from When a Soulmate Says No. Truly an inspirational woman. But also Jason rejected her. The title of the book had people gobsmacked as they realized that she had left her husband only to be rejected by the supposed soulmate. She wrote an entire book about how lustful she was over a bloke she had barely met, only to get ratioed. We have found it, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest L in human history. I've got nothing else to say. That was fun. That was really fun. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for your time. And legally, you have to subscribe, or you might be Amanda's next target. See you later, boyos and boy ladies. Bye-bye.